I was just so done with it for a variety of reasons. Like creatively, the story had finished that I set out to tell, and these are very hard movies to make. And when you watch the behind the scenes that come on the DVD and the Blu-ray, it always looks like we're having a party. It's not. It's not at all. And it breaks a lot of us. And after each one, it's like, that's it, I'm done, I'm never doing it again. And then I come calling to everybody like, come on man, one more time, we'll get the band back together. And that's what sort of made this franchise special, is that a lot of the same people have stuck with it for 12 years now. 12 years ago since we started making the first one. For me, this goes back to when I was 8 years old, when I first came up with Victor Crowley. So, but what happened was I went through a very dark period of my own, and at the tail end of that, Wes Craven passed away. And when you lose somebody of that magnitude, what kind of happens is within our generation of filmmakers, there's phone calls and texts and emails, and you start thinking like, man, like someday all of our idols are going to be gone, and what have we done? What have we contributed? None of it matters. And that's honestly how you feel. And at Wes's memorial, I believe it was Tom Holland, when I said that to him, he said, I get it, but you got to understand, in the 80s, we were standing in the shadows of Hitchcock and Kubrick, and you guys love the stuff that we did, and you revere it now, but it certainly didn't feel like that at the time. So you're never going to understand that something you do means so much to somebody else. And I heard it, but or I should say I listened to it, but I didn't hear it. And then 3 months later, I was asked to moderate a panel with George Romero at Rock and Shock in Worcester, and it was fantastic because I'd known George for 10 years at that point, but I'm still in reverence of the man, not because he is the godfather of zombies, but because he's the godfather of independent cinema. If George hadn't done what he did, there's a good chance that we wouldn't be doing what we do today. And George had asked me, because he didn't want to talk about zombies, and he didn't want to talk about what he thinks about Walking Dead, or if zombies should run, like all the usual stuff he's always asked. He wanted to talk about the craft and what's happening in the industry, where there's this whole new philosophy that you shouldn't have to pay for entertainment, and what it's doing to entertainment. And at the end of the panel, this big standing ovation for George. It was like 800, 900 people. And I'm standing there clapping for him as well. And he stops and he says, do you see this? And I'm like, see what? And he's like, Hatchet shirt, Holliston shirt, Victor Crowley tattoo. Like, do you see this? And I just couldn't. I couldn't see it. All I could see was failure at that point, because I was just in a very dark place. And he said, I know you've been going through a really hard time. I know that you have taken Wes's passing personally, and people are very concerned about you, but you can't stop doing what you do because we need you. And it was very emotional and very hard to accept coming from a guy like that. But he said, when are you going to give these kids, because everybody's kids when you're George Romero, when are you going to give them another Crowley movie? And I said, George, I'm not. Like, it's done. And